soon. What about trying this exercise?
I don't know. What about this one?
I've seen that before, but I remember someone told me not to do it.
But Athlean-X says this was like a really good one to try, so I think we should give it a shot.
But I was also watching V Shred, and he says this one's actually a good one to try instead.
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
Then maybe, what do you think we can find in here?
Over here.
No, how about we try this one?
All right, shall we go start our workout?
No, I don't want to. I'm too tired and I don't even know what's best anymore.
I know, it's so frustrating. Hey, it's Al here with... Extra! Ordinary Athletes. So today we're doing something a little bit different. We're gonna wedge ourselves in the middle of a YouTube controversy, specifically between two large YouTube fitness stars, namely V Shred and Athlean-X.
Are you ready?
Both of them did a video on how to get a good, strong pec contraction using the cable machine. And they both suggested wildly different approaches. So V Shred actually suggested this.
Turn back straight. Flex. Turn.
Interesting exercise. Now, Jeff Cavalier from Athlean-X actually did a bit of a response to this and kind of took a subtle, humorous jab at it, but ultimately ended up suggesting his own version of a good cable pec exercise. He suggested this.
Getting a lot of work here on the chest, and you should get an intense contraction because you're utilizing all the functions that the chest wants to use in one shot.
Here's the problem. Both guys look good. Both guys look like they know what they're talking about. And honestly, both exercises look a little wacky. How do you know when to listen to exercise advice? How do you know what exercise to try? Now look, for your average person, your ordinary athlete, this can be a very difficult problem. Getting overwhelmed and inundated constantly with all kinds of fitness advice and fitness experts and YouTubers and magazines. Try this exercise, try that one.
Yeah, there's so much information out there, and well, how do you sift through it all?
How do you know what's right? I don't even know what's best anymore.
And on top of that, you don't have a lot of time, so no. I mean, you're trying to get a workout in, you're trying to be as efficient as possible, and because of all the information, you're just drowning in it.
We're going to take a look at one of the most important principles, key tip to helping you determine which exercises might be right for you and when you should take advice and what it's for. And that key tip is going to be learning about the angle or direction of resistance. Literally learning where resistance is coming from, where the tension's coming from when you're doing an exercise. And I promise you, if you learn this key tip, it'll help you throughout so many of your workouts and help you be more confident when you hear fitness advice and try to figure out, is this right for me or is it not? Once we've done that, we'll dive back in to this little bit of a feud between Athlean-X and V Shred and take a look at those exercise suggestions again and apply that principle and let you be the judge. Let's actually try to understand the principle that we're talking about here, the angle of resistance, the direction of force. Understanding where tension is coming from in an exercise can help you avoid making so many big mistakes. And honestly, understanding it and being cognizant of it can also help you better realize which muscles you're utilizing in an exercise. We're going to use a very popular rotator cuff exercise, specifically an external rotation with the rotator cuff. So I'm going to bring Errata in to kind of help show that exercise. So Errata is going to show us an external rotation with an exercise band. Now you might see a lot of people at the gym doing this exercise with a cable. Band is just as effective. Super good exercise for your rotator cuff. Let's get a little more tension there. Let's sidestep, yeah, let's make it a little more difficult on her. Don't rotate the body, just rotate the arm. So super great exercise for your shoulder, keeps the shoulder joint nice and healthy. And actually when I worked at a physical rehab clinic, we gave this out to a lot of people. But here's the key for us. try to see, and let's ask Arad, where are you feeling the direction of resistance? Where are you feeling that tension coming from?
That way.
Exactly. So the force is pulling her that way, and she's resisting against
I'm
it.
fighting the force.
She is fighting the force. So the entire exercise works because she's pulling against the tension. The direction of force is that way, and she's pulling this way. That's what works the rotator cuff.
This is very effective. I can already feel it.
You feel it here,
Yes,
right?
I definitely feel it here.
Exactly. So now we're gonna get to the mistake that so many people make, and honestly, I've seen this so many times. Let's put the band down and do the exact same exercise with a dumbbell. So same position, same everything. Ready? So she's doing the same exercise, but let me ask you, where's the direction of force for this?
Down there.
Yes, like gravity is pulling the dumbbell down. She doesn't have a band pulling her that way. So what muscle do you feel is working here?
Here.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yeah, it's your biceps.
Which
So
is not what you want for this exercise.
it is not what you want. But you're not actually working the rotator cuff because you don't have the proper direction of tension. You only have gravity pulling it down. Let's actually take our principle, the direction of force, the angle of resistance, and apply it to a chest exercise. Kat's gonna demonstrate a dumbbell chest fly. Her favorite.
I really, really don't like this one.
Why?
Well, because I feel like it's so unsafe. So let's look through it. You have your hands up high, and then you do this motion.
Right.
And you know me, I like heavy weights. If I do heavy on this, I'm gonna break something. I
Yeah.
feel so much tension right here, and I'm afraid of actually pulling that.
Kat's actually 100% right, and neither of us recommend doing this exercise. It's a good one to demonstrate the principle, but honestly, I would ditch doing the chest flies, and exactly for the reason Kat gave. You shouldn't go heavy on these.
You
and
can't.
You can't. Because if you put yourself in that position with a heavy weight, you're at risk of potentially pulling or tearing something. Probably doing it on the floor. A floor version might be safer where your arms can't be ripped apart.
On top of that, you're really stretching because gravity's pulling it
You
down.
are. The question is it even that effective? Well, let's take a look. So do you mind doing it again? I know you hate it.
If I have to,
Okay.
I'll do it for you guys. Doing it for you.
So what's the point of doing a chest fly? Well, the point is this, getting some chest adduction. And that's when the arm is literally moving towards the midline of your body. Why do we want that? Because when your arm moves towards the midline of your body, as is happening in the chest fly, you get a better chest contraction. Something you can't really do with a bench press when you're moving your arms straight out, even though bench press is a great compound exercise. So people move to this. But take a look at this. At the end of the concentric portion of the rep, Kat, if you could freeze right there, where do you feel the tension? Remember our principle, direction of force. Where's that direction?
Down.
Pointing straight down. The dumbbells and gravity are forcing tension straight down. But if the whole point was to get some adduction of the arm to get a fuller chest contraction, then where you want the tension to actually be is pulling your arms apart. Literally imagine two arrows pointing away from Kat's hands, pulling her apart as she resists those forces. That would be a great exercise that really helps you contract the chest. This isn't doing that. So if you apply our principle, you see, hey, a dumbbell chest fly, not that great of a chest exercise at all.
How long am I supposed to be doing this?
No, you're good. You see that we can fix this problem with the chest fly by using cables or a band. Now, you'll often see people at a gym using cables doing what's known as a cable crossover, where they have two cables pulling their arms apart as they're bringing them in and even crossing them over. Really gives a nice strong chest contraction. And you can easily use a resistance band and even do just one arm at a time to do the same principle. And what you do is you take the band and perform that same adduction movement. Bring the band towards the midline of the body, even past the midline. Now look, you already see me struggling at the end of the concentric portion of this exercise. Why? Remember our principle, direction of force. Where's the force coming from right now? It's pulling my arm out, and it is taking all my chest muscles and strength to keep this band in. Look, I'm even wobbling a little bit. That's how you know that this exercise is working. So when you apply our principle and consider where the force is coming from, the direction that the tension is coming from, you can easily see which exercises are giving you a better contraction on that muscle.
So how does this apply to that whole debate that Athlean-X and V Shred were having? Well, let's look at the exercises again, but now keeping in mind that principle that we have. First up, V Shred.
At the end of the concentric portion, take a look at this and use our principle. So where is the direction of force? Where's the tension coming from here?
Kind of looks like he's doing a roll.
Yeah, like he's being pulled
Yeah.
forwards, and then the force would be like you're trying to pull back.
Bring him back and then
Yeah.
forward again.
Yeah, this is kind of the setup if you were gonna do a row. If you wanna pull that back while it's pulling you forward, that'll work your back muscles. V Shred in this says, remember to contract your pec muscles. And it's a good point. Always remember in many of the exercises you're doing to properly activate the muscle that you're utilizing. But forcing yourself to flex and activate that muscle is very different than having the weight or load or tension actually put tension on that muscle for you. At the end of the concentric portion of this lift, honestly, you're not getting that tension because you're not having anything pull your arm away from your body, forcing you to do that adduction. That's what would give you that fuller contraction of the chest.
Why don't we look at Athlean-X now?
So is he taking the direction of the force into consideration? As in, is the force with him?
Nerd.
For all of you out there who might follow Athlean-X, it will come as no surprise that yes, the force is with him. He definitely is taking this into account when he made this exercise and recommended it. So is it smart for me to be promoting another YouTuber, considering that we're trying to start our own fitness YouTube channel?
Good question.
Maybe not. This guy has a lot of great recommendations, and he's honestly one of the few YouTubers that I've kept watching throughout my own fitness career. But that's enough about Athlean-X. So we'll switch back to what we're talking about, which is direction of force, the angle of resistance. Right at the end of his contraction of the movement here, you're gonna see two angles of resistance, two directions. There's certainly force pulling his arm away from his body, and we already talked about that. That's great for adduction, which is great for a chest contraction. But he's also bringing his hand not just across his body, but down and in as well. And when you bring your hand across and down, what you're doing is you're actually placing a lot of tension on those lower chest fibers. So he's getting a great chest contraction from this exercise. The adduction across the body and the downward portion as well. We're not knocking anyone here. Both of these fitness YouTubers in particular have a huge following, and I'm sure both of them have helped a lot of people get in shape. So always, always, always mad props to anyone who's been able to do that.
Whenever we're talking about using a certain exercise for a certain purpose to hit a certain muscle group, this is the exact principle we're using in every decision we're making all the time.
So bottom line is, learn the principle, try to apply it to whatever exercise you're doing.
Hope you guys like this video. If you like it, if you don't like it, comment below. Let us know if we should continue doing videos like this. Subscribe, like us, and see you next time.
And if you'd like us to review any other exercises.